Finally, the book shoot has come back home.
Wow.
It's been how many? I don't even know. How many years has it been?
I believe
Probably
it's been
Three,
four,
four,
three or four.
about
five,
3.5, a little over 3.5 years.
7, 8. Wait, 3.5? Really?
I think it was summer of 2016.
Summer of 2016. We were just getting ready to go to what?
NXT
SummerSlam?
and SummerSlam. Takeover in SummerSlam.
We
Wow.
filmed a couple after that. But after years of not giving the people what they wanted, we are back and better than ever, as Eric Bischoff would say. And we have we're changing up the format a little bit. I don't know if Brendan wants to go into that.
Hold on. I would like to say that if there's a silver lining in the current situation of the pandemic, it's that it brought the book shoot back together after 3.5 years. Here we go, baby. We have I want Mark to go into it. He's got the details nailed down.
So after years of poking and prodding at my book shoot mates, trying to get the pod back into the hands of the book shoot universe, the shooters as I call them. That's not the only thing they shoot, but I wanted to get the content back in the hands of the shooters. And we had an idea that's a little different. We used to review the weekly product. I used to take nerdy-ass notes segment by segment in Raw and SmackDown and the pay-per-views. And I don't think it was the best way for us to continue as a podcast if we're going to. And I think all of us like the old stuff better than the new stuff because, I mean, it used to be good. So
plus the product just sucks now. Sorry, Vince.
It's Vince, we're in your pocket. If you want the book shoot live on the WWE Network, we will change our tune. But for now, the product sucks. And we need to discuss the old product to remind ourselves why we love wrestling. And that why I love wrestling brings me back to a time in my life, in my childhood, where me, Brendan, and Matt, 3 of the 4 book shoot mates, would play a lot of SmackDown versus Raw, 2006 to 2008. A lot of drafts. I'm sure Teasel, Big Terry, had many a time playing SmackDown versus Raw. The draft.
I was more of a shut your mouth and here comes the pain generation kind of player. Boiler room brawl and shut your mouth. And Brock Lesnar, here comes the pain. Because we all know the biggest Brock mark in this group is yours truly, Teasel.
Oh, it absolutely is. Takeshi is absolutely the biggest Brock mark on the planet. And eventually we'll get into our biases and why Brendan gets down on his knees and prays to the altar of Aiden English every night. And why Brendan wants The Miz to have a 5-year WWE title reign after he recovers from coronavirus. We will get into all of our biases. But for today, in light of the SmackDown versus Raw 2006-2007 game that me, Matt, and Brendan used to play in Fantasy Book, we had a bit of an idea to bring a draft format to our first show back as the book shoot. And the idea is that we're each going to build our own promotion. So it's Vince and Triple H, we're going to find out how our promotion's doing. And so we're all going to draft one main event champion, one mid-card champion, and one person to feud with both of those people in the first 4 rounds. 2 heels and 2 baby faces. A little bit of a free-for-all, though. You can draft 2 heels first or 2 baby faces first. After the 4 singles are taken, in the 5th and 6th round, the tag team rounds come into play, and no one that has been taken in the singles rounds will be able to be taken in the tag team rounds. For instance, if Daniel Bryan is selected as a single, Team Hell No would not be a tag team that's available. And then after that, Matisse Smithbull had his best contribution to this idea in saying we need general managers. Everyone knows the importance of the authority and what but there's one rule: no Vince. Vince McMahon is off limits because he is the greatest performer in the history of the wrestling business. Like I said, Vince, we're waiting for our checks any day.
He grabbed his own brass ring.
Oh, I mean, the reason no one else could grab the brass ring was because he had such a tight grip on it.
Yeah, it was literally, yeah. But all right, so did we reveal the draft order?
So the draft order will be heel Brendan giving himself the first pick. It may have been a book shoot. It's up for you to decide. The second pick is Teasel Takesh T. He will be the second pick. The third pick, Matisse Smithbull. And the fourth pick is me, the modern day Markaraja.
This will be your standard serpentine snake draft.
Absolutely.
So
7 rounds. And then at the end, we
7
will,
rounds. No, it's 6. Oh, it is 7 rounds. Yeah, you're right. Okay. 7 rounds. So without any further ado, with the first pick of the 2020 Book Shoot Return to Glory draft, Brendan selects 98 babyface Stone Cold Steve Austin.
I mean, it's the easiest pick of the draft. The number 1 pick. You got the biggest star in the history of the business. What? But yeah, I mean, it's obvious. People want to argue about if Hogan had a bigger impact on the business or if Flair maybe had a bigger impact on the business. I think no matter what, even though it was a short run, no one will argue that the best time in the history of wrestling is 97 to 01, that time area. And there's no greater reason.
No one can touch Austin at his peak.
No, absolutely not.
He's the hottest thing in wrestling, and of all time, and no one will ever eclipse it. Most likely.
Like you said, that has a lot to do with Vince being the greatest performer ever. But
yeah,
Stone Cold absolutely is the correct first pick.
All right. Number 2, take it away.
Right. My first pick, I think, is the overall best performer in the biz. I'm going to have to go with the Heartbreak Kid, Shawn Michaels,
wow.
which I believe was the time that really put Shawn Michaels on the map.
Mark is heartbroken, no pun intended.
Was in 1996 when he won the Royal Rumble, won the world title at WrestleMania. I think that was the year that it put Shawn Michaels on the map, and he didn't look back since then.
Wow, I would have thought T would have picked The Rock. It
was tough.
We have Matt and Mark furiously adjusting their draft boards here. This is like they are just.
I know. I am thrown into a tizzy right now. I have no idea what to do.
Everyone knows that I think Shawn Michaels is the correct pick here. I'm wearing a Shawn Michaels shirt as we speak. I was expecting to easily get him with the 4th selection. That's a great pick by Terry. I personally, my favorite HBK would be heel HBK after he turns at SummerSlam 97. Up to the Screwjob would probably be my favorite HBK, but babyface HBK 96, 97, he's the same in ring. He's obviously amazing. And as Brendan knows, the most important thing, the best gear in the history of the business, Shawn Michaels. It is, no doubt about it, it's the best gear in the history of the business. So with the third pick, it got thrown off a little bit here, but Matt, who are we taking?
I know. I'm mulling over the options in my head. I feel like I haven't talked for the past 10 minutes, but I'm Matt, and I sound like Brendan, and I'm just better in every way. But there's two people here. There's a right choice and a wrong choice. The right choice is probably The Rock in the early 2000s or late 90s era. But you know what? This is my promotion. This is my fantasy booking. I'm going with 1985 Nature Boy Ric Flair. The pinnacle of horseman heelness. He was my heel champion. I'm gonna be a heel promotion. Wrestling is fucking real, goddammit.
So we are cutting off WrestleMania 1, which is 85. So you're right under the gun there with getting them in. But regardless, 80s Flair is kind of all the same thing. Heel Horseman Flair, it's definitely the peak. I think Flair is a great pick.
I think I like that pick. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a great pick, and I knew Matt was taking Flair. Matt's the biggest Flair mark in the history of the business.
You don't want to pick saggy tits 2008 Ric Flair.
blood in his white hair.
With his pink hair.
I do think Rick has an argument as the second best overall performer in the history of the business. But if I'm up next with the fourth selection, it is an easy pick. Because can you smell what The Rock is cooking in 2000? It was another level. I would say he's the only person that has a peak that rivals Austin's peak, and it just so happens that they were at similar times, which is pretty amazing. It's why Vince has been chasing that popularity since that time frame. But I think Rock's ability in the ring and the ability he will job, like he's not like Austin Hogan, where it's he's willing to job. And he doesn't take himself too seriously, too. And he's also the best in the history of the business on the mic, in my personal opinion.
Yeah, just The Rock and Stone Cold were so good they made like non-wrestling fans respect wrestling, which is a feat that's not common in the history of fake sports.
Yeah, that's a great point.
So then I'm lucky enough to have the turn here with the fifth pick. And this is where it gets hard. I have two people that are neck and neck, really, really neck and neck. Three people really neck and neck if you really want to get into it. But
can I cut you off real quick? I have a quick question. I want to keep this going a little bit. I want to keep the drama going here.
Absolutely.
So do I have this round coming up? Does it have to be the mid card champion, or can it be anyone? Can it be like
free for all?
What's up?
And also, we don't have to decide who our champions. We don't have to decide who our champions or who is chasing until after we have our rosters. We can then our belts.
Gotcha.
In classic SmackDown versus Raw format, where you can put the belt on Tajiri right out of the gate. So with my second pick, I will be taking heel Canada 1997 Bret the Hitman Hart. And that creates a match we didn't get in their peaks, and that was where I really wanted to go. I'm kind of happy in a way that I don't have HBK and Bret, because I don't think that their best match ever, Survivor Series 92, they never really even had a 4-star match. WrestleMania 12 is overrated. But the fact that I have Rock and Bret, two people who never really met at their peaks, they did meet in 97 when Rock was Rocky Maivia, but that might as well not even be the same fucking person.
Yeah.
Rock in 2000 and Bret in 97. Can you guys imagine?
Yeah, that would be incredible. And yeah, that's the cool thing about this too. I'm trying to do the same thing to not, if possible, pick people who overlapped, because I think that's what makes this thing, interesting and
Absolutely.
Cool. Fantasy booking at its finest.
That's also such a funny thing because The Rock is the most unrealistic wrestler of all time, and Bret's the most. Makes it look so real, and The Rock's doing the fucking people's elbow. Yeah. It's a great combination.
Rock had great feuds with the likes of Benoit and Kurt Angle, though, who are probably the most similar wrestlers to Bret in that era. So Rock was able to adjust later on to a different style.
Mm-hmm. Ooh.
All right.
Woken Matt.
Hey.
I'm conflicted again between a couple people. There's so many awesome options, but I'm gonna stick with my plan. I'm gonna go with a man called Mankind.
Wow.
Reach, but he's in the Flair heel and Mankind babyface, and it's gonna be that fucking Mankind versus the Authority kind of thing where Vince screws him over. Flair's gonna cheat every time. Foley's in from Mankind to Cactus Jack to Mick Foley himself. Flair and Mankind had a heat behind the scenes in real life. We need some of that. He's gonna overcome. He's gonna win in Madison Square Garden. He's gonna win. Mrs. Foley's baby boy is gonna win the fucking title, baby.
I don't know. The keys to the garden.
That's great.
But no, I everyone knows how I feel about Mick. I think he's really a lot of the reason I'm into wrestling, reading those books at such a young age, and watching him dive off cages. And a lot of my first memories are about Mick Foley. Royal Rumble '99 is the videotape I played the most, which is depressing for Mick. But he was unbelievable, and even beyond that, I think he's probably the best person in the history of the wrestling business.
And even '96, before he had the cage match with Taker, watch him versus Michaels in your house. Mick is athletic. It's so weird. Usually, watching him limp around the ring, it's like, dude, he can move. He was a decent fucker back in the day.
King of the Ring '98 really, really, really took a lot out of him, but it also adds so much to his mystique and his legacy that you have to wonder if it's worth it or not.
Yeah.
But
and he's so good at being a sympathetic figure. You could just easily book Flair into just tearing him apart.
Yeah.
And for giving him 30 headshots, 30 chair headshots like The Rock, and you have.
That was my thing. So Flair '85 did he broke Dusty's ankle, and that was the big but I was between Rock and Flair. I could have Rock headshots with Foley, and that would have been the same,
Yeah, exactly.
Big Foley's going to get very abused and played a lot in my promotion, so. All right. I think Terrence is up next.
Yeah. All right, so to kind of, continue off of this, different era, so, my pick, it was tough because I kind of had to, throw, change up a little bit, but, so these wrestlers, they've, are superstars, sorry, Vince. They have crossed paths before, but this specific generation era of this superstar, they never crossed paths. So, because Shawn Michaels was dealing with personal issues at this time.
You lost a smile, Terrence.
Smile, come on.
To
the drugs.
Yeah, he found Christ. So I'm going to have to go this tough, but I think the 2000-2001 Kurt Angle, I think would pair very well in ring work with HBK, mic work with Shawn Michaels. I think you could easily book something for that.
That's great.
A heel Kurt Angle, and then you have the babyface Shawn Michaels in '96.
I was gonna pick him as my IC champion or my mid card champion, but that's
Love that pick.
Brandy's fucked. That was Brandy's whole thing right there. He's nothing else.
Nah, Brendan's got two old timers there to start looking at, I think.
Yeah. I love Kurt Angle's my dude, as everybody knows, but
as they say in the streets.
My bad. Sorry, Kurt. But yeah, I mean, Kurt and Austin kind of cross paths a little bit, so.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, I'm left with one person that I have to go with, essentially. I think this would be an interesting matchup, is Macho Man Randy Savage.
Ooh, great pick.
Now, I don't. What do you think his peak as a heel? What year?
It's probably when the Mega Powers explode. When the WrestleMania 5, they did great business. Also, we didn't emphasize this. This is probably something I shouldn't do at the end of the second round. But the criteria that we're basing this off of, guys, is popularity, in-ring, promo, draw, and importance and legacy to the history of the business in relation to their peak. So let me just emphasize that. But Macho Man, I would probably say, because of how huge WrestleMania 5 was and how Macho Man and Hogan are forever linked, I think it probably has to be '89 Savage as the heel.
Stone Cold, I see the way you look at Elizabeth with those lustful eyes. Are you fucking cup of coffee? Yeah.
What? What?
Looking at me with your beady little eyes. You beat the shit out of your wife, and so do I. And I'll hunt a fucking goddamn buck.
Oh, yeah. They just don't listen, do they?
Ooh. Snap into your goddamn neck. It's like a stack of dimes. Yeah.
All right. So I don't even know how to segue off of that. It's just gold. But all right. So I have another pick here on the turn. This is where it starts to get a little tough.
Oh, for sure. I think there's two people who feel disrespected at this point. If they're in the green room, if we're doing this,
I could tell you someone right now who's feeling very disrespected.
Yeah,
if Brendan doesn't swoop in, I know. I think this. I'm going to pick this person. So
there's serious disrespect to two folks.
But here's the thing: we have our main cards filled up, I think. So it's like, or we put Hogan in the fucking mid card. Like that doesn't seem an option.
Your first two picks don't necessarily have to be
true.
But why wouldn't they? They're probably the best people.
But realistically, all these first 4 rounds or whatever, they're all going to be former world champs anyway. So It's not like there's only 4 of us here.
Yeah, I have a top 10 for face and heels, and every single one of them I think held the belt in the peak that I have listed. So it's kind of like any one of these guys being in the mid card is unrealistic. But obviously, it sounds more realistic for a guy like Punk.
All right, I know who I'm picking, and this might be a shock to you. I don't know, but I'm going. Again, I'm so bad with years. Whatever year this is, WrestleMania 30, Daniel Bryan.
Phenomenal pick.
Daniel Bryan.
2014. I would say probably the whole run-up, if you want to get the whole the yes movement, 2013, summer 2013 to spring 2014 is really the peak. And that's one of the, I mean, CM Punk is really what got me back into wrestling in 2011. Daniel Bryan is what kept me in wrestling around 2013 and 2014. That peak has not been touched since, and I don't think probably the way the business is set up, I can't imagine anyone being as universally popular than Daniel Bryan was in 2014. The closest thing is Kofi, and it didn't reach the same exact fever pitch that Daniel Bryan reached.
And I mean, there's nothing better than an organic, like obviously what we've seen with Roman when they try to push these baby faces down your throat, it just doesn't work. And Daniel Bryan's the epitome of just that natural, organic, baby face run, just incredible. And I'm looking at the draft board, and for me personally, I was looking at the faces and heels left, and I feel like there's way more heels left than faces. So that's kind of what
That's a good take.
So.
No, I think that's a great pick. Matt or Terry, actually. I'm sorry. Rikishi T.
Right. So I guess, man, I'm torn here. Oh boy. Gotta keep the different eras going here. So, I know Mark's mentioned this guy quite a bit here. But I'm gonna move on to the 2010 era here. So 2011 CM Punk.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with him as my my third pick. Yeah, third pick.
He's up next on my babyface list. He was next.
Yeah, it was pretty much for me. It was between him and Bryan Punk.
Yeah. So I think that's with him with Cena, Money in the Bank 2011. I think that's top 5 of the decade for me.
I think that Brendan asked us the other night to send matches to someone to try to kind of explain wrestling and how it can reach the zeniths that it does, how it can be as great as it can be. And when wrestling's great, as we know, because we're all nerds doing a podcast about it, it is unbelievable when it's great. When it's great, it is like it reaches a peak that a lot of forms of entertainment don't. Just because, and CM Punk in 2011 with that pipe bomb and the whole run 20 and how it perfectly coalesced into his last night on the job, being in a city where he's from, and he's one of the wrestlers that really he represents a city, and for him to with it being Chicago, which is such a rowdy crowd, that moment is like none other in the history of professional wrestling.
There's nothing better than fake fighting at its peak.
Punk found that out when he went into real fighting, which I think we mentioned on the last podcast ever. I think our last podcast that we did, for reference, was when CM Punk lost his first fight in the UFC.
Wow.
Being nerds, it reaches zenith.
Zenith.
I almost hung up. I was that. Well, oh my god.
Yeah, I like to prove that I have a college degree sometimes. But
did Vince tell you to plug that word? He's really in on that.
Make sure
Zenith.
It's really a ploy.
Vascular.
He's fluid. A medical facility.
Medical facility, yeah. All right, Mateo.
Okay, so this guy is one of the greatest heels of my childhood, and my wrestling era was like the mid 2000s to late 2000s. The number one heel might be JBL, but bigger than him, I think, affected me so much. Edge, the rated R superstar.
That's a great pick.
Dude, when he goes to John Cena's father's house in Boston and spears him through a wall, it might be the peak. The peak, not the zenith, ass. It's such a great moment.
Yeah.
Nice. Fantastic.
And I just blew up.
He's definitely one of our favorites, as we all grew up in that era.
Mm-hmm. I just blew up Edge and Christian and rated RKO for tag teams too. They just want to ruin everyone else's fun.
Yeah.
A live sex celebration on TV too. Here,
a live sex celebration.
You get Lita. Lita comes with.
I want you to fuck her on TV in front of families, for children. Make them watch.
Hey, come on, we have a
family show.
Family show. PG. It's the PG era.
Sorry, fans and sponsors. I know we're getting a lot of money from these endorsements. I'm sorry. I'll clean it up.
Yeah, we got to pay the bill somehow.
All right,
Mark for 2.
Well, you know something, dude. I think it's absolutely ridiculous that it's taken till the end of the 3rd round, brother. I'm the biggest star in the history of the business. And in my promotion, there will be no roll-ups, dude. There will be no roll-ups, dude.
What year Hogan? I'm curious to see. Is it Hollywood Hogan or is it
Hollywood Hulk Hogan in the NWO 1997? Give me that heel.
How about the work rate? How about that?
We'll ask around it.
Can he say he's not jobbing one night? Is that gonna happen?
No, he does not have creative control in his contract.
Mm-hmm.
We took it away from him.
Smart.
And then, with my pick at the turn, it's between 2 of the biggest stars in the history of the business. 2 people I'm not particularly huge fans of, either of. Taking Bryan, Punk, and Edge back to back really killed whatever my upcoming pick was here. But I made a promise to Brendan last night. I would not select the man who was in the most repugnant WrestleMania match in the history of WrestleMania matches. Undertaker was in a Boneyard match last night that is getting high praise on Twitter. And I think it was one of the worst things I've ever seen in my entire life. And so he is the correct pick. But I will not be selecting him because you can't see me. My time is now.
Wow.
I will be taking 2015 U.S. title open
Cena versus
challenge
Hogan.
John Cena.
Cena versus Hogan.
And that is why I did it.
Flash of the Titans.
Cena Hogan.
What a swerve.
Wow.
That was Russo-esque, the way you set that up.
I went
If you would have told me Mark would end up with Cena and Hogan, that is just.
It's not what I expected.
Here's the thing: Mark hates those people.
Expect the unexpected.
Mark hates them so outwardly to all of us, but inside he loves them because he's a little boy. He wants to believe in heroes.
Yeah.
Outside he's jaded and cynical, but on the inside he wants them so bad.
Hey, never give up.
Wants them. He
Never
wants
give
them
up.
so bad.
But I just think that Cena. I turned the corner on Cena years ago, like around this U.S. title era when he started making every one of our favorite wrestlers look important. When he started putting over Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens and Cesaro and Seth Rollins and the stars of the future, and hopefully tonight he puts over the Fiend. But I think it'd be remiss, and I don't think Cena was going to get taken. I think it'd be ridiculous if he wasn't taken in this draft. And I think he reached a peak in 2015 where he's polarizing, but I think that'll work perfect with NWO Hogan. Because NWO as heels are tweeners in themselves. So, Matt, you're up for your last singles pick.
Okay. So this is gonna mess up with the like different eras thing, but I don't think these guys faced each other too much. And I think Edge was in tag teams while this guy was a singles. And this guy unfortunately died. I forget what year. I'm not gonna get it wrong, but I'm going with Eddie Guerrero.
That's not who I thought, but
I thought you were gonna go with somebody else.
me too.
Great. I'm
He's changing his pick. He's going Eddie.
I'm sticking with Eddie. Babyface Eddie. I think 2004 when he beat Brock the title. That's what I'm going with.
That's absolutely a great pick. He's the last babyface I have on my list.
Versus Edge, I think is a great, just work rate.
They had a great match at SummerSlam 02.
I
know it was a mid-card feud. Yeah, Eddie and Edge weren't main eventers at the time. But, yeah, Eddie reached a great point with his character with the Lie, Cheat, Steal. And that also takes a tag team that I have on my board, Los Guerreros, off the board.
Yeah, that's big.
I had them too.
Matt could have had some foresight there and picked his guy and then picked Los Guerreros later. Wow.
I just like ruining things, but anyway, I think Terrence is up again.
All right. Surprised that this guy hasn't really been picked at all yet, but I need a face, right? Baby face.
No, you need a heel.
Who do you have?
I have 96 Shawn Michaels.
Face.
2000, 2001 Kurt.
Heel.
2011 Punk.
Face.
Was that,
Yes. Heel.
Okay. He was a heel, but he was like.
He was an anti-hero.
Yeah.
I mean, you got an arguable top 10 guy still there.
I know.
Multiple top 15 guys.
I think this guy. He's one of the. I think he's one of the best characters of all time. I mean, he went freaking undefeated at WrestleMania for over 2 decades, for crying out loud. So I think I'm going to pick The Undertaker. But I think at his peak it was like mid to late 2000s when he had like the matches with HBK. Even Randy Orton, the Legend Killer, in the mid 2000s. I think in the 90s, like his like all throughout the 90s, he's been like consistent. Like he's had the evolution of his character is probably one of the biggest out of the whole company, in the history.
He's the Jay-Z wrestling. The longevity is just.
But I really think he reached his peak in the ring when he got older, like in the mid to late 2000s. I think that was some of his best work overall.
So the only problem with that is he's a face there, but that's fine. I think if you do that, you could shift Shawn to a heel, your first pick, if you want.
I mean, I got booking rights. I mean, like I can book it however I want. So, fuck
you.
So yeah,
I thought T was gonna pick Undertaker in like the second round, so this is a great value for him.
No, it's a great value. I was looking at him in the third and fourth too. It's
Mark's a man of his word. He said he wasn't going to pick him.
I had to keep my word. That Boneyard match was repug.
Yeah.
Yep. That's all there is to say there. Yep.
Yep. That's it.
Brendan up for the last singles pick.
All right. Wow.
By the way, I just want to say I made a top 10 for face and heel, so I have 20 wrestlers listed. No one has drafted someone off my board. So I think everyone's done a pretty damn good job of drafting guys that are the correct picks.
Yep.
Well, thanks for your approval.
Fuck you too.
All right. So what I think I'm going to do here is a little bit of strategic, something that Matt did not use in his pick. I'm going to go with, so I have 2 picks in a row, right? So I'm going to go.
You got a single and a tag team, yeah.
Yep. So I'm going to go heel Brock Lesnar for my singles pick.
Wow.
This is the last singles pick, so you guys could have picked him.
Nah, cool.
Great
Cool.
pick.
Yeah, right.
Shut up. He's an idiot.
What's your era? Well, what heel Lesnar are you taking?
Probably when he elbowed Randy in the head.
2016.
We were there for that.
Just because of the amount of marks we saw in the crowd that just lost their mind.
Wait, does Brendan get Heyman along with Brock or no?
If he takes him in that era, yeah.
Okay.
So does that mean
And who's your tag
Champion.
team, sir?
at all?
I'm shocked that Terry didn't get Brock with that last pick. Shocking.
Yeah, I knew it was gonna be Taker or Brock for him, and I was hoping it was Taker, but
And that sets up a dream matchup for Brendan that I've wanted for years, where Brock Lesnar puts 5'8" Daniel Bryan in the F5, throws him out of it, and as he's getting thrown, Daniel Bryan locks on the yes lock and makes that bitch tap.
it's the ultimate David versus Goliath story. It's
Unbelievable.
Oh my god. All right, so now we're getting into the tag teams. This one's tough because we can't pick Edge and Christian. Edge has been picked. Who else?
Guerreros.
Can't pick
the Hart
Guerreros.
Foundation.
Can't pick the Hart Foundation. So there's.
What strategy do you have? You're blanking right now. I thought, I have a strategy. What is it? Come on.
All right, I'm gonna go through with it. I'm gonna pick Jericho.
Oh, that's
shocking.
great.
Wow.
I was gonna pick Jericho as a heel, but if I pick Jericho there as my singles guy, then I can't. I don't think Lesnar was ever in a tag team, so.
I think
that's my way of getting both of them into the promotion.
Jericho and Triple H are probably the 2 people that feel the most snubbed right now, not getting drafted. So at least Jericho can be included in this. Triple H will not get included in this.
Yeah,
you won't.
That's fine because he includes himself and everything else. So
exactly, except Mania this year.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Not touching that shit.
Takeshi.
Come on, buddy.
So can we make tag teams off of someone that we already have?
No.
Like 5. Okay.
They're taken off the board.
You cannot take Jannetty.
You can't take DX.
So that I was gonna take Marty Jannetty, but with Shawn Michaels, but
there's a couple easy ones out there.
I mean, I guess I'm gonna go the.
This is where
I'm gonna go the Hardy Boys. The Hardy Boys.
Oh, there you go.
Boys.
Yeah.
The Hardy
I have
Boys.
to go the Hardy Boys.
I think they're the greatest tag team of all time.
Yeah, that's what I was conflicted on when Max started giving me shit because they're just so good, but I also just like the Hardy Boys are the better tag team than Jericho, but I just love Jericho and Kevin Owens. So
yeah, and the thing is, like with Jericho and with the Hardy Boys, they've all had successful single runs too. I guess more so Jeff Hardy than Matt Hardy, I don't know, but like they both had successful single runs. So
hey, don't
got
sleep
some stuff to
broken
work with
Matt.
there. And that's why I took it back.
He's leading AEW to the promised land right now.
The Vanguard 5000.
All right, so I guess I'm up. And
real quick, can I get Lita with this too? Can I get since I'm gonna pick them from like the TLC era?
You can watch over
Edge. Who picked Edge?
I picked Edge.
That was the sex scene era, so you already got Lita.
You guys got to film on different nights so Lita can work. Lita can work.
Yeah, but I want like thong up halfway up her back, Lita, like where she come out in baggy ass pants.
You can't have two different, just like you can't have two different Shawn Michaels. You can't have two different Litas.
I know, yeah, you're right. Right.
I'll give him Lita. I'll give him that floozy. You can have that, whatever.
Edge needs the slutty tits out Lita in order to make the character.
Edge can have Vicky be his beer manager.
I have two. Ooh.
Oh, that's a feud. Edge and Eddie feud over Vicky.
Custody of Dominic.
Throw Aiden English in there since she's married to Eddie's daughter.
Hey, come on.
Is he really? Really?
Is he really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
How dare you mention Aiden English?
Yeah, I was curious to see why Brenda didn't take The Miz or Aiden English. But The
Miz is on my heel list, by the way. Like, he's on my list. It's just, if we had more picks, then he would have been, like, probably the next round.
All right.
He's the Miz. Don't get it. The Miz is one of the greatest heels of all time. It's undeniable. No, I'm not even kidding.
I am laughing.
He's a top 15 heel of all time.
I'll take 2000 Slapnuts Jeff Jarrett over Miz every day of the week. The Miz. Let's just say this and end the conversation here. The Miz has never ever hit Beetlejuice in the head with a guitar. And that is really that's the true mark of a heel in this business.
That's true.
So
take it away.
Mateo?
So I'm conflicted, and these tag teams I have between, I'll say both of them because I don't care if someone picks them after me. I don't think they have names either. There's X-Pac and Kane, who I love as a dumb tag team. And then there's Owen Hart and British Bulldog.
I have both on my list.
I know. I don't know who to go with. If I pick Davey Boy Smith, British Bulldog, I'd give him crack every night. But then X-Pac.
Yeah, your costs are going to go up. But either way, X-Pac's an addict too.
Yeah. I'm fucked. Mr. Hitman. So, you know what? I'm going to go with Owen Hart and Davey Boy Smith as their faces. Their doofus faces. That's what I'm going with.
I like that.
All right. And I will go with who is, I think.
I know who Mark's picking.
Who is regarded as the greatest tag team of all time. I don't know if they're my personal favorite, like I said, the Hardys, but you got to go back to that era.
Michael Hayes.
Those damn Dudleys.
The Freebirds.
Michael Hayes.
The Rock Girl Express.
Go jump off a 20-foot ladder,
The Dudley Boys.
So only Devon and Billy Ray, or are you going Spike Dudley?
I want Big Dick Dudley. Yeah, that's the Dudley I want. I want Big Dick Dudley on my side, and Sign Guy Dudley, and the Stud Muffin Joel Gertner. I actually, you know what, Matt? You just made me think of a great thing. I was gonna write down 2000s Dudley Boys, but now that I'm thinking about it, I'm gonna write down their main 96 to 99 ECW run, where they would go into the stands and go into the first row and say, "We got a mother here who taught her daughter how to suck dick." So I'm gonna go ECW Dudleys, and to counteract that vile, that awful language, we are gonna go with the greatest child tag team in the history of the business. They probably sold the most merch in the history of the tag industry. The New Day.
Wow.
With the Dudleys.
Oh, that's a great pick.
And they did it in 2016, but we're gonna get ECW Dudleys this time with the 20 let's say when they won the belts when we saw them in Brooklyn. So we'll say 2016.
Nice. The New Day, they are like a contemporary great. There's not many. I mean, Punk, you can say, Daniel Bryan, New Day are definitely like a greatest of all time. I mean, whatever.
There's 2 more modern tag teams that belong in the conversation.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll see if they get picked. I think we'll do a rundown of everyone who got snubbed from both at the end of the draft, kinda. But I have a couple other modern tag teams that I was considering with this pick. But I think New Day are the best.
I like this tag team thing as complete wild card. Like you have no idea who anyone's gonna pick, and I'm interested to hear who Matt and Terrence pick.
I'm not picking anyone contemporary. I'm gonna pick the Brainbusters. Arn Anderson and
Wow.
To complete not all of the Horsemen, but 3 out of 4.
You taking them in WWF?
Nah, WCW.
Oh, so now you got the Horsemen.
Yeah, exactly. I had to round it out like that.
You'll induct Edge can take a spot in the Horsemen.
Yeah. I don't know. I might have different plans. If we're doing managers, I might pick Vicky and have Edge be with Vicky cheating on Eddie in the babyface. It might be like one of those baby faces where like he punches the girl, but somehow he's the good guy still. It might be one of those, but that might be too edgy. I don't know.
It's
All
not.
right, we'll save the booking. We'll save the booking for a separate podcast.
It's always good to promote domestic violence. It's important in the wrestling business.
Dude, so many baby faces have hit women. It's insane.
Oh yeah.
Justifiably, I may add.
Accidentally. No, but go ahead, T.
He's up.
This is tough. My apologies. I'm going to ask a question. Was the NWO in any way, shape, or form from WCW taken?
No.
Yeah.
No,
So that was my question. That was gonna be my question too. Like, is it like, do you just pick 2 of them from NWO, or is it
the Outsiders?
Yeah, you do the Outsiders.
Hall and Nash?
Yeah.
That's what I was going to do. I was going to do a Hall and Nash with the combo from NWO from WCW.
I should have done that because I have Hogan. I didn't even think of that. That's a great idea.
Wow.
Yeah. So I'm gonna do Hall and Nash NWO.
Nice.
WCW. Yeah.
That's a great pick.
Mm-hmm. All right. So this is the last pick of the before the GM. So pretty much the last pick of rounding out the card. I have like my pick of the litter here almost.
There's a couple.
Wait. So wait. What is this? What is this pick? Is this like another tag team?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's my last tag team. So I picked Jericho. So I want to pick a team that's like will be funny / interesting with them. Too Cool could be funny.
If you're going funny from that era, there's a perfect one.
No, I know. So could I technically pick not who you're thinking? Could I technically pick DX and it be like Triple H and X-Pac or something? Or no?
I don't think that they ever had a real run though.
Yeah, you're right. All right, I'll go. There's one. I have to go with this one undeniable team, and it's the Spirit Squad. No, I'm just kidding. Just kidding.
Nikki and Kenny. Nikki.
No, but seriously, I'm going New Age Outlaws.
Yeah, it's a great pick.
That's a good one. Can I just say I'm thoroughly surprised Brendan did not pick Eminem with Joey Mercury and Johnny Nitro.
Ooh.
I didn't even think of them. I have a whole list here, and I'm not even on it.
J&J Security.
I mean, I don't even like John Morrison that much, but Joey Mercury is just the greatest bumper in the history of.
Oh man, J&J Security would have been a great
history of the business.
Yeah, if you pick Rollins, heel era, you would have gotten.
You could have gotten heel era Rollins.
So that also creates another one. The draft is over.
Wait, I just thought of it. Yeah, let's go through. Hold on, let's go. Do you want to go through tag teams now that we didn't pick?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Shield.
The Shield. Yeah, I just thought about
Shield.
that.
Yeah. Fuck.
That was the other modern team I was talking about when I mentioned the New Day.
I was gonna say the Wyatt family, but the Shield.
The Wyatt family. But so if you pick the Shield, would you get all three? I guess you would.
I think you get the two. Usually it was Roman
Dean out.
So do you have to pick two from the New Day?
Mm.
Well, they do. The New Day are weird though.
You gotta pick two.
I'll take Kofi and Big E.
That's pretty easy. Kofi and Big E.
We'll give you Xavier as the manager.
Yeah, New Day does they do Freebird rules all the time though. You never know until they go to the ring.
Yeah, the Freebird rules should apply. So you should be able to get all three. I'm surprised Evolution, but since
But during the
Blair
Shield, this is so semantic. But during the Shield's tag team run, they did have the tag belts for a while, and Dean had the U.S. belt for a long time. It was Dean as the champ, and it was Seth and Roman as the tag champs, and that was what they did for a while. Because Dean was the most ready to work.
Yeah.
All right, here's my list of tag teams we didn't pick. Feel free to add on to after.
For sure.
The World's Greatest Tag Team.
Great.
Too Cool.
Oh, and I had Kurt Angle too. I could have did the World's Greatest Tag Team.
That would have been a great pick.
Yeah. Too Cool, Wyatt family, Road Warriors. I mean, we're getting a little old here, but Rock and Roll Express, Spirit Squad, DIY.
I was going to
modern. Terrence out and Eminem, and I have two hilarious ones.
Deuce and Domino.
Enzo and Cass. And Crime Time.
Oh.
Crime Time. Brooklyn. But I do think it's offensive that the Ascension weren't brought up in this discussion.
Fuck the Ascension.
Shut up. He said Road Warriors. It counts.
Well, we're going to talk about the final form of the Ascension.
So repug, dude. So repug.
But in all reality, a tag team that didn't get mentioned that I think deserves mention is the Steiners from the early WCW 90s when Scott wasn't quite Big Papa Pump yet. He didn't look like a complete meth head, insane person who runs a Shoney's in Ackworth, Georgia.
That's now.
But
what about the Fabulous Freebirds too?
Yeah, them with their racist Confederate flags.
I've never seen one of their matches. I have no.
I mean, I've seen some of their matches from when they're completely washed in the early '90s, and it's not great. Like they're still doing the same '80s shit.
I was trying to think of just the most random tag teams, even tag teams that aren't even good, really.
Mm-hmm.
Like Crime Time is just hilarious. Is there anything else like that?
I have two more. One is APA with JBL and Ron Simmons.
Yeah. Pug.
They were great characters.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
And then I have the Midnight Express. You get Jim Cornette just being Jim Cornette.
Yeah, for sure.
And
who did Miz and Sandow.
Oh, Mizdow.
That's how I should have got the Miz on my roster.
We got Undertaker rolling through with the bike outside of one of their apartments there.
Mm-hmm.
We are staying at home in quarantine here.
Stay home, stay safe.
Shut up. About parents, we know. So should we run down our rosters now, or should we draft GMs and then do it?
Let's draft GM. We ran through all the tag team snubs at this point.
Okay, so same order, or should we reverse order?
We can go. Brendan up first.
All right, so I forget if this was the same era, but I don't really care. I'm still gonna pick him. When he had the neck brace on, was Jonathan Coachman the GM?
Yeah.
He was?
He was like the assistant.
I'm picking
yeah.
neck brace Jonathan Coachman.
He was an assistant to Bischoff, wasn't he? Pretty sure he was like an assistant GM or something.
No, he definitely was GM at one point though.
Yeah, well, I don't care. Give it to him. That's so funny.
That's great.
Yeah, Coachman is just the GOAT.
All right, so Big Teasel. And podcast fans, if you don't know, Terrence, we call him Rikishi T because he's the same size as Rikishi. He's a big, bulbous man of overweightness. Sorry, go ahead, Terrence.
Hey. DDP Yoga.
Not anymore, baby.
Shout out DDP Yoga.
Now he's chiseled out of granite.
Not fucking granite though. He's not in the Kufaj quite yet.
Yeah, exactly. He's one level below.
I'm in the Coog. All right. Let's see here. I got a couple in mind. Which one do I go with? Shit.
Verbalize what you're thinking. You can't. There's no second round pick, so it doesn't matter.
I know. I can't pick Paul Heyman.
That's correct.
All right, playa. I think I know my pick.
Oh man.
Teddy Long.
I'm gonna go Teddy Long.
Who would have thought Terrence of all people would have gone with Terrence Teddy Long?
I was ready for some Teddy Long New Day crossover.
That would have been great. Teddy Long is such a him and Coachman both in SmackDown versus Raw, just like their stupid animations, and they just like I don't know, just classic.
And he already has Taker. That's like the perfect SmackDown era combination.
If you only had Rey Mysterio to see him come out every match, it's like, wait a minute, player. Rey Mysterio was WrestleMania after every match.
Along with the Undertaker.
Tag team match.
Player.
For a 6-pack, 7-way, 8 fatal 4-way challenge.
And this was Matt's idea to add the GM, and
I know who Matt's picking.
Who will be the GM?
So I think we talked about it earlier. I think I have to pick a certain woman, but I want to say I want Jim Cornette. I want him involved, but I'm picking Vicky Guerrero, and she'll be involved in some angle. I have.
Excuse me. That is the most repug pick of the draft.
It is.
Hands down.
I literally might book her to have sex with everyone on the roster in some way. Not actually, but just like kayfabe wise.
You don't have to book her to ride Space Mountain, baby.
Oh, she'll do it all on her own. She'll volunteer for that one. She'll be Flair's valet for a while.
That's actually pretty good. That's actually funny.
He'll be Mankind's valet. Like the way he had Dusty Rhodes had like that ugly girl be his valet. It'll be that like in a comical like Flair the hot girl and Dusty had like the like whatever baby doll. It was like she was like okay looking.
Wait, can I switch my pick to Jerry Jarrett?
I mean, I'm not going to oppose, I guess.
Why would you want to?
No. Never mind. No, never mind. I change it back.
All right.
Mark. Is Mark on?
He's muted. He muted himself.
What an idiot.
My apologies. I'm right here.
What an idiot.
I have a couple options here for the last pick of the GM draft. You got boring ones like Bischoff in the WCW run, or you could even say in the WWF run. You got Kurt Angle, which I guess you can't draft Kurt, you can't draft Foley. So I will go with an angle that was paid off horribly, but we have said that I have booking powers. We all have booking powers. So I will go with not Hornswoggle, the anonymous Raw general manager. And I will be able to book the anonymous finish. And once we get our funds in order, we'll be able to bring in someone like Kevin Nash. Probably it'll probably be Kevin Nash.
Kevin Nash got taken, bait, buddy.
Yeah, I mean it's fucking fake. I mean, if I want to be the GM, if I want to be the GM of one,
I was also considering picking the anonymous GM as well.
I actually muted myself because I was trying to find the text tone. But then I realized that Matt and Brendan wouldn't even understand what that was in relation to, probably, and Terry would have realized, but I could not find the anonymous Raw general manager text tone to play.
When you said first one, I thought you were going with what's his stupid name? Finley. I thought you were gonna play My Name is Finley and I like to fight.
I love to fight.
All right, though. So, I mean, is there any singles guys that you think got like pretty jobbed out by not being in the draft here?
Sting.
Yes, Sting's another one where it's weird to determine what his peak was, because you could say Surfer Sting or you could say Crow Sting, but Crow Sting didn't.
Because I mean, he was probably the face of or one along with like Flair, but like a face of WCW during the Monday Night Wars.
Absolutely.
I mean, he was very important with that whole era as well in the late '90s, mid to late '90s.
The Starrcade '97 build-up is one of the greatest things in the history of wrestling, but it's a shame they fumbled the bet.
I mean, we're valuing the NWO so much right now, and Hogan and Flair, and but we're leaving out. I mean, obviously Goldberg too, but I think Sting is a lot bigger than Goldberg when it comes to that. As a face with WCW. Because
Sting could work, and Goldberg obviously couldn't. You could definitely make an argument for Sting over, I'm sure, a couple of the people we picked.
Yeah, there's also like some guys like of all the singles guys, we have 16 overall guys. They're not the 16 greatest of all time, but it's also like, who do I want to see? Who like Dusty Rhodes isn't 16, but who wants to watch Dusty like wiggle around the ring and like elbow people for 20 minutes? It's kind of like
Piper.
That's a good one. Yeah.
Right.
So I really don't think there's too many guys we overlooked in terms of like our criteria.
The three who really stick out to me, or four, I guess, who really stick out to me as guys who I think got snubbed, but it's not even snubbed. I don't know who I'm taking off for them. Vader in 1993, his heel run with Flair. I like to do a thing where I pick the three, because I'm doing a watch through, as Brendan, Matt, and Terry know, where I've watched from 85, I'm up to 2001, and while I was staying along, it's taken months. While I was staying along, I kept the best three matches of every year. I wrote down on a note, and in 1993 in WCW, the best three matches are Vader's three matches separately with Sting, Foley, and Davey Boy Smith. So I think he really, and that brought 93 and 94 brought WCW to a point where Hogan went to WCW and feuded with Flair, and that really started the boom of wrestling. So I think Vader doesn't get a lot of credit for that because he jumped to WWF and it went so poorly. But his run in WCW was top notch, and he's I think he's the greatest big man of all time. And then Triple H, we all hate Triple H. It's hard to hide. I mean, we love him as NXT Triple H, but it's just he's not in the same level as these guys in terms of a peak. I think he's another guy where longevity, if that was in the discussion, it would probably be different. Yeah. And then we already said Jericho, but he got drafted as a tag team. Seth Rollins in 2015 put the company on his back 100%.
I consider Seth with one of my lasts. Like, he's on my board.
Yeah, same.
For sure.
You could say that 2015 is just not important enough to take a guy like that, but I think Seth probably. I mean, I took Cena in 2015. You could probably make, if I was looking at a heel, it might have been Seth.
Yeah, I mean, and like we said, we're picking such a small amount of people that it's just hard. That 2015 Seth was great, but is he a top, however many guys we're picking, 8 guys?
Yeah.
Or 6, whatever it is, it's hard to fit him into that. So, but Yeah, let's should we run through everyone's?
Yeah.
Does someone keep a list?
I kept some notes. So Brendan, with his first pick, has 97-98 face Stone Cold Steve Austin. With his second pick, he's got 1989 heel Macho Man. With his third pick, he's got Yes Movement Daniel Bryan. With his fourth pick, he's got current day heel busting Randy Orton's head open Brock Lesnar.
Come on, Brock. Come on, Brock. Too far.
His two tag teams are Jericho and the New Age Outlaws. And his general manager is Jonathan Coachman in a neck brace.
Wow. It's going to be tough to top that, I'm telling you.
Big Teasels, Big Sexies roster. Got HBK in 96 or 97, the heel, whatever he wants to book. Kurt Angle, 2000 2001 heel. CM Punk, 2011 face. The Undertaker, 2006 to 2009 modern day. The tags, he's got the Hardys and the Outsiders, which is a little bit of an interesting combo. They never worked much together. Scott Hall's got ladder match history. You throw the Hardys and Scott Hall in a ladder match. Kevin Nash can just
imagine Kevin Nash in a ladder match.
Yeah, he'll tear his quad immediately.
Yeah. As soon as he stepped on the first ladder or the first step of the ladder.
Ah, my quad! And Terry's GM player is Teddy Long. Matt.
No, it's the Mac Militant.
The Mac. Yeah, hell yeah. Matt's roster. You got 1985 heel Ric Flair. You got 96 to 98 face Mankind. 2006 heel Edge. 2004 face Eddie. 1996 Owen and Davey. And the Brainbusters or the Horsemen to feud with Owen and Davey. And the GM is Vicky Guerrero to be in the middle of Edge and Eddie. And my roster, which is immaculate, may I add, is Rock in 2000, Brett as Canada heel in 97, Hulk 97, NWO heel, and Cena as the U.S. title open challenge babyface. My tags are the ECW Dudleys and the New Day, and my GM is the anonymous Raw general manager. And let us know who you think, if there are if the shooters want to let us know.
Yeah,
our Gmail is bookshoot@gmail.com. It's going to be a hub of activity, along with our Twitter, which is @thebookshoot.
You're welcome for this entertainment fans in this trying time. I don't need to thank you. I just need you to know you're welcome. And I'll leave on that heel note.
Brendan, I think it's about that time.
Well, that was a book shoot, fellas.